of the Spokane Cyber Cup, and this is the no characters challenge. Now, if you thought that the odd characters was hard or the even characters was hard years ago, now we have no characters to work with. So in the previous challenge, we were looking to see if characters were valid, and we were doing this by checking to see if they're even or odd. But in this case, if the length does not equal 0, then it returns false. So at this point, we actually can't enter any characters. And this makes this part of the challenge completely unsolvable, which is totally different than before. So if you go to the prompt, it starts making a little bit more sense. It says, hey, this is the same program as last year, right? Well, it actually broke during the process of transferring it over. So can you still get the flag? Hint, what are env variables? Hint, which env variables are malicious? Hint, can you write to the temp folder? This is where I think things get fun. So if we go to the run.c file, this handles all of the black magic permission stuff. And the way that this challenge works is you log into the challenge in the terminal. And once you do that, you try to execute the run binary. And this escalates its privilege to the flag user, which can then do other things. This is called setUID, and this means that has permissions to do things that the regular user can't. And this is the case for things like sudo and a lot of other binaries on the Linux file system. However, if you make something setUID, you better make sure you're doing it securely. And there is one fatal flaw in how this is set up, and I actually did this the first year and no one noticed. So there's an unintended solution in this that no one saw, which I thought was pretty comical. So right here, we're calling system python home no char.py. And I actually think in the one we're going to release, I was messing around with it. We're going to do it like this. So it's actually going to be even like this. So it's actually going to be incorrect. It's not going to be able to find any files, and it's going to look like it's broken. And this is 100% intentional. The goal is to not make, I don't want the students to go down a rabbit hole trying to bypass length checks. I want them to look at this C file and look at this for this flaw. If you look at the odd binary, you'll notice that there's a slight difference where it calls user bin python versus this just calls python. The way this works on Linux is there is a path variable. And we can actually, if you do echo path, and this path variable determines where we actually look for binaries at. If you clear this, it doesn't work. So this is not cleared with setUID binaries, which is kind of bad. On sudo, they have to manually change the path to be non-malicious in this case. So for us to solve this challenge, we're going to make our own Python file. And the easiest way to do this is go to vim python, and we can just do something like bin bash. We need to cat the flag, but we'll do that in a second. So Python, because we're going to be corrupting the flag, the path variable, we want to make sure that we actually have access to bin cat, or cat in this case, to output the flag. So I just wanted to get a raw setup for this. So bin cat slash, where am I at here? And then we're going to do flag.txt. Great. So at this point, we have a flag. Or we have a file that we can execute. Of course, we need to make this executable, which can be done with chmod. So now if we call run, everything's going to be invalid, which is totally fine. But the key to this is changing the path that runs. We don't want it to run that program at all. We want it to run our malicious version of Python. So we're going to set the path equal to temp. Now, when we run this, it executes our malicious Python file that we put right here. By executing this malicious Python file, we have now tricked the program to run our executable with our Python executable, which is clearly the wrong one. I think this challenge is really fun. Path issues with set UID binaries are not uncommon. I've seen this before, which is really fun. So yeah, to recap, maybe best go back to here. To recap, we're not specifying the actual Python that's being ran. Because the path variable is not cleared, which we have even like it says to do clear path variables, we can then have it run our own version of Python, which is going to just be a bash script. So thanks for joining. Hope you had a good time. Let me know if you have any questions.